All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Zach Hubeck with Wave LLC. I'm your VP of Sales and Marketing, and we have a very special edition of AirWAVs coming right to you today. I have three very special guests on with me today, and today is all about featuring Blackdragon networks. Susan is one of those rural heroes bridging the digital divide, connecting rural America with Telrad Networks and Federated Wireless. And that's the theme of our AirWaves session today. And we are so glad to have you, Susan. You're doing some amazing work out there. And I also have Bernie from Federated and Alex from Telrad. I won't steal your thunder. My first question to all of you fine folks is, who are you? What company do you work with? And what is your role? And we'll absolutely do customer and hometown hero Susan first. Susan, why don't you tell us all about yourself, Miss?
Thanks, Zach. My name is Susan Nuss. I'm the owner and operator and chief thinker of Blackdragon Networks. It's been my dream since 2016 to help bring better connectivity and broadband to my rural area. So, which I live in Jetmore, Kansas. That is a small town of about 1,000 people in southwest Kansas, centered in Hodgman County.
Awesome. Very good. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you, and thank you so much for your partnership. It's really an honor to work with you, and the things that you're doing and the things you're accomplishing. We're absolutely going to jump into all of that, but you're doing some awesome work out there, and we appreciate you. So why don't we jump over to Alex? Alex, go ahead. Who are you, sir?
So my name is Alex Freylekhman. I'm VP of Sales at Telrad Networks. I've been with the company almost 6 years soon. And Telrad is a manufacturer. We're a provider of fixed wireless access technology.
Awesome. All right, Bernie, you're up, sir.
Hi, Zach. Thank you very much. I'm Bernie Vaysenberg. My role is General Manager of OEM Partnerships and Channels here at Federated Wireless. We are the SaaS provider for all things CBRS related. So we support Telrad and their network products as a great OEM partner of ours, and all the ISPs out there trying to get into the CBRS band.
All right. Awesome. Good stuff. Well, I'm glad to meet all of you. I've known you, but Susan, it's great to meet you in person, as much of in person we can do these days. But Susan, why don't I start the first question off to you? You've always had the dream of bringing better connectivity to where you are, and you're doing that today. Tell us a little bit more about your company and what inspired you to get started and how you got started.
Well, what inspired me to get started with Blackdragon was I worked for 30 years in the telecommunication business for bigger companies and found that they weren't really spending money on rural areas. And it was disheartening to see that. I drove my little car from Hodgman County to Dodge City every day and found that those folks enjoyed a lot better quality of life, better choices in connectivity. And I felt sad and discouraged that my hometown wasn't benefiting from the broadband expansion that was happening during the 2000s, 2015, 16. And I felt like our county was falling in that digital divide. I felt very sad about that. So it was my dream to try to fill in the gaps where the big guys didn't decide to play in broadband. So.
Awesome. Good stuff. And you did something about it, and you are succeeding today. I love it. We're going to get a little bit down the road here on the specifics about your network and things along those lines in just a few minutes here. But to that end, Susan, statistically, when I look at the Bureau information and everything, in Hodgman County, only 78% of Kansans have broadband access. By my estimation, that's about 400 folks still that you're doing something about that still don't have access to that internet. So in the times of the pandemic, where everybody is needing to be socially distant, work from home, school from home, all of those things, what what are some of those challenges that you have seen from your customers, and how has that truly impacted them in these last 18 months?
Oh my gosh. Well, it came from our county district judge who had COVID. His family had COVID. They had to school from home. They were trying to do it on hotspots from their phone. They were not succeeding. In fact, my conversation with him to get him connected, he went to his phone out in the pickup just because he couldn't get cell phone connectivity in his house. And everyone assumes their cell phone works in their house, and that's not true. I've come across family after family after family after even a woman who's at home by herself, afraid to be in the basement because she needs to be on her phone, but it doesn't work in the basement. Things like that that you just don't realize. So we've been helping each one of those get on our network and get connected so they can all be together and not out in the car talking on the phone when they're trying to work. So
very cool. And you've even saw in times of the pandemic across the country, children going to the school parking lots to connect to Wi-Fi. And just from a practicality standpoint, while that is achievable and a means to an end, it's certainly a Band-Aid approach, and truly bringing high-speed internet to people's homes, bringing internet connectivity to people's homes. That is the end game, and that's what you're accomplishing. Alex, Bernie, I swear, guys, I'm going to get to you here. I just want to lob one more question to Susan here, and there will be more. But Susan, so with so many choices in LTE and SAS, what made you choose Telrad and Federated? And by the way, we all three are very glad you chose these gentlemen and Wave to work with. What made you choose them for the important work that you're doing?
I felt like they had a similar spirit as I did. They're maybe innovative folks that think outside the box a bit. My first interchange with Alex, I called him on the phone. He says, "Oh, I'm in Salina, Kansas. I'll just come down and see you." And he came down to Jetmore, Kansas. He fed me lunch. He talked to me about what Telrad could do and what the LTE, SAS, CBRS spectrum could do out in this area. And he was absolutely right. This is wide open here, 150 megahertz of spectrum open to the nation to provide broadband through fixed wireless. And he opened my eyes to that. And I felt like he was a maverick, so to speak. And I felt like that matched with my vision for our company. So
awesome. That good Midwestern work ethic, that let me roll up the sleeves and let me go out and see the problems and be there with the folks and see what's happening in this community. And then let's come up with a solution together and deploy it. So Alex, nice job, buddy. Way to go.
I couldn't miss the food.
Awesome.
But and as far as picking Federated, I'll just say that I had spent a good bit of time going round and round in the Google Help sessions trying to figure out how to do things. And I was quite frankly tired of chats and emails, and I wanted maybe somebody that I could call. And I felt like through Wave and Federated and Telrad, they put together a team for me that I could count on and get the answers that I needed when I needed them. And I felt like rather than me searching on the internet when my internet is down, didn't work,
Yep.
I needed someone to call. So
awesome.
I wanted to call Federated.
Awesome. People helping people help people. This is just a beautiful thing. I would hug you all if we were in person. So Alex, why don't we go to you? Bernie, you're on deck, sir.
Sure.
Susan, great answers. Alex, so what are some of the ways Telrad is supporting Blackdragon? Why are your products ideal for that application Susan is using for your LTE solutions today? So when you went to go see her with that first visit, what did you talk about? What kind of solutions did you talk about from Telrad, and how are you helping her customers?
Well, in Kansas, the very typical and standard problem is you have vast territory, and then you have the foliage that is popping up here and there, or here and there sometimes quite a bit of foliage. So, and it's a challenge because what LTE allows to do, it allows to reduce number of infrastructure nodes, not number of base stations that can serve certain amount of customers, right? Each tower means fewer less backhauls. Your leasing is your operating cost to run the network is less, and so on. So it's just a different business model. So my mission, my life's mission is, and it's not a secret, it's making world faster, right? And making world faster one network at a time. So this is exactly what resonates well with me. Like, I see a need, I see passion, I believe in people, and Susan had all those elements that I was looking for in a person, and that's it. And whatever I can do to help, great. And sure, there were some situations that I could answer quickly, some situations that I couldn't, but it takes two to tango, and Susan was continue pushing the boundaries and asking questions, and answers were delivered, and next thing you know, we're executing the project.
Beautiful. Love it. All right, Bernie, step into the batter's box, sir. When we talk about Susan's network, and we talk about, we have LTE for transport, there's this SaaS solution. How does the SaaS fit into the equation? And what is Federated doing differently than, I know Susan already talked about Google. There are other SaaS providers out there, but how is Federated different in this equation, and how are you helping people?
Yeah, so thank you, Zach. So for one, I mean, the SaaS is mandatory now, right? So CBRS is a band that actually was started by some Virginia Tech folks when the FCC came with an idea to say, we have this spectrum that's available to us from the government because of which is the incumbent was the Navy. So we built this ESC network around the country, which basically detects the radar of the incumbents as they come to the shores around the country. The idea was that those radars are not used very often. So why don't we take that spectrum and say that the incumbent is the priority of that frequency? So anytime they do come to shore and need to use that frequency, it's given to them, but when they're not, it should be utilized for connectivity. And that's when we came up with the idea of spectrum sharing, or the SaaS as it is called now. Yes, there are other SaaS players in the market. The government and the FCC needed to build an entire ecosystem around this. That's what we're trying to build here, is the ecosystem. And the big differentiator for us is the fact that Susan mentioned, wireless is not a black and white type of event, meaning there are some nuances. There is gray area. There is no, this will work perfectly here and then it won't work here. There are nuances that happen. And when those occurrences happen, or nuances, you need somebody to talk to. Our core business is the SaaS. Our core business is CBRS. And so we take it very, very seriously. We don't have any other ulterior motives of other business entities or what we're doing, not a side project. This is our core business. So we are doing everything in our power to make sure that the entire CBRS ecosystem keeps pushing forward to help customers like Susan and bridge that digital divide that we sorely need in this country.
Awesome. I love it. Well, good. Well, Susan, let's get back to, and just hearing you anecdotally talking about some of these homeowners having to go to their truck just to get a cell signal, and, the district judge just not being able to connect from home, even while being quarantined. Aside from that, and maybe those are the ones, and you can elaborate a little bit more, what are some of your favorite installs? I, myself, and Alex and Bernie, we've been all watching from the cheap seats as you're putting up more and more LinkedIn posts and things along those lines. It's almost like we know when a brand new whack of subscribers are being brought online, because Susan, you're very eloquent in your LinkedIn posts. I love it. I sit there with popcorn, and but tell us about some of your favorite installs and why.
Well, I guess one of the first and biggest supporters was Alan Osh. He's a county commissioner in Hodgman County. He lives in the west part of the county, and he couldn't be on a conference call with the county commissioners during the COVID lockdown, so he would have to drive to town. And I just, he was so thrilled to get that, and we were excited about that. Another one is Roland Jackson with Jackson Power Steering. He has an internet-based business, and he sells power steering for old tractors to make them usable all over the country. And he was waiting and doing his email through Verizon hotspots that would limit his download speed after he got done with the first 5 or 6 gigabytes. And then the rest of the month, it was like, I don't know, chocolate syrup.
That's
a good comparison.
Dribbles and drabs of megabytes, maybe even kilobytes.
At that point, it's kilobytes. Yeah.
And he was trying to run his business, half of the month, trying to get it all done. And he was worried about finding out news because of the download speed, for news clips. Yep. So he got connected, and he's just like a kid in a candy store. He can look at all those videos. In fact, he has purchased 7 video cameras from me and video surveillance. Once you have that backbone of good internet at your place, then so many other things come up. And this video surveillance has been a very big, pervasive need that I didn't even realize was there. And we are providing that to customers. I think I have 7 or 8 of those customers now. But folks are really interested in having that kind of connectivity. They're cutting the cord. They're cutting the satellite providers. They're going with streaming. They love all of that. And that's this fixed wireless system is supporting all of that. So
I think if you think of all the ramifications, I'm going to be partially joking here, but literally when there's county business that needs to be done during a pandemic and you cannot connect, you're driving to the conference room or a state or a county building to get your internet connectivity. God forbid Alan gets COVID and now he's quarantined. How is he going to conduct county business? You can't do it face to face. You can't drive to that building and be amongst other people. You have to have internet connectivity. And the joking part, everyone, with Roland doing his Jackson Power Steering, imagine all of the carpal tunnels he's saving from all of those farmers that no longer have to wrestle with that steering wheel, and you're getting taking that internet connectivity, allowing him to thrive in his business and get that power steering to those folks who are feeding us. I mean, this is just the ramifications of all this all the way down the row. It's amazing what you're doing by simply just adding internet connectivity, which in very urban areas, I live in suburban Chicago. This is just another utility for me. This is another bill that shows up, and I have gigabit fiber to my home. I am spoiled. And my biggest challenge, ladies and gentlemen, was the first day of school for my children last year was someone cut the fiber line, a utility cut the fiber line. And oh, boo-hoo me, my children had to use their hotspots on their cellular phones instead, and they got great service. But out in very rural areas, this digital divide is very real. And to hear those install stories, Susan, that's really, really cool. And to hear about these folks and how you're changing their lives, I get excited about all this stuff because we're truly helping people. This is totally cool. Awesome. Well, good. So anyone can take this question. Maybe Alex or Bernie, you can talk about this. How does federal subsidy play into the digital divide equation? We've seen billions of dollars made available in programs like Connect America Fund, Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. What are you guys seeing on your side, and how does that play into this big equation here? Who wants to take it?
Yeah, I can take it. Yeah, I'll take it. So
go ahead.
Clearly, you mentioned that there is plenty of money, billions of dollars being funded, and I think it's a it's a great thing for our industry, and I really truly hope that it does help bridge the digital divide. But one thing of caution I would like to say is that just because the money is being thrown out there, it needs to be used properly too. And people need to be properly educated. People need to know what products do what and where, and the right use cases. Otherwise, stories like Susan's don't even happen, and this money just sits there somewhere. So, you know, education is really important to our industry to make sure that these applications and use cases and that sort of thing get all done correctly. Otherwise, you know, we could be sitting here in 12 months from now thinking, oh, well, we didn't even bridge that digital divide where all that money was getting thrown around. So, you know, we all have to be very careful on how that money is being distributed and used properly, because I think there is quite a bit of it out there, and I'd hate to see a lot of it go to waste, because we're in like a full-blown renaissance in the wireless community right now for us to really be able to finally bridge that digital divide that we keep talking about. So hopefully we use that money properly, because there is certainly a lot out there. That's my perspective. Maybe you could throw in 2 cents as well.
Alex, what do you say?
Well, if you look at early 1900s, what was happening in the United States when electricity was I believe it was 1920s, 1930s, when electricity was classified as a utility. Government provided dollars, right? And you had electrical co-ops that were organized because people couldn't afford to run electricity. But when decision was made, we are going to electrify every single building in the United States, money were provided to people through the government, through the channels within, from federal to state, local, and so on. Broadband was classified as utility. It's becoming a necessity. Just imagine you're one day without internet connection. What exactly that means, right? So so we live right now in a world where federal government is subsidizing an effort of ensuring that there is equal access to broadband connectivity. Now, that also means that you have a lot of misperceptions. Some people say, well, it means fiber everywhere, or and actually right now we're writing a white paper specifically about that, the symmetric bandwidth, where we're trying to dispel the myths. It's like, well, listen, fiber, yes, nobody's arguing that fiber is a gold standard, but at what cost? How much time does it take? So what, are you going to wait 10, 15 years until you're going to get that gigabit connection? I mean, we have to be realistic, right? And so at the end of the day, there is not enough fiber and there is not enough money anyways. So fixed wireless broadband, fixed wireless access is the only common sense technology. So in case of Telrad, because we use LTE, it kind of reinforces the idea that, listen, yeah, it's not just a common sense, it is proper technology to deliver quality and consistent bandwidth, because it's not just connectivity. AT&T's, Verizon's, tier ones, they also deliver connectivity, except it's not quality. And there is no quality and there is no consistency in bandwidth. Susan's customers, our end user customers, they have no idea which technology. They could care less about the technology that they use, underlying technology in delivering bandwidth. What they care, their grade is, my internet is fast or slow. That's it. They don't care about anything else. So picking the right technology to deliver quality and consistent bandwidth is a big deal. And like Bernie said, it boils down to education. It doesn't mean that Telrad is a great choice everywhere. No, there has to be a place for line of sight based technologies, maybe higher capacity technologies, and often you end up with a blend of vendors on the same network. And with Susan, exactly the same thing. She'll have few vendors that she chose and selected and uses to provide services to her customers. So Yeah, so absolutely, there is a funding, plenty of that. We just went through CAF. CAF was done. We just went through RDOF. That is actually happening right now. There is plenty of money through USDA, multiple buckets through hello, Friday.
Too many to remember, Alex.
Too
I
many to
totally get it.
remember.
I am. Yeah, this is what happens to me now. The eConnect stuff. So, so for education, just remember what happened to our kids. Just with the previous school year,
Yep.
with the inadequate internet connection, and when everybody went remote.
Yep.
So yes, there is enough funding available, but it also means that if you are using certain amount of dollars and you're delivering wrong technology, it may cost you either upfront a lot more and it's just simply not enough, or
Yep.
it will cost you more long term. So decisions have to be done wisely.
Absolutely. Good points, gentlemen. Good points. So Susan, the gentleman and I talked a little bit about the more on the federal side. Are there anything you're seeing in Kansas or more statewide programs that you may be potentially taking advantage of that people can get excited and bring more connectivity to the area that you care about most? Are you seeing anything at the state level?
Well, I just at the state level, the state of Kansas is putting their support for broadband. They have a broadband office now, and they are doing. They're asking providers to partner with them in an application to the NTIA for broadband infrastructure program. That broadband infrastructure program, I think there's $218 million. I think there's more available in other places. USDA, I had the Senator Marshall's representatives stop by my office yesterday and offered help for USDA funding. So I'm going to tap into that and try to find some more funding to expand this network. But
Beautiful.
one thing I will tell you is my particular grant that we got started with was a COVID emergency response grant last year. And I had the smallest award at $386,000. But I am covering 1,080 square miles of Hodgman, parts of Ford, parts of Nuss, and Finney County with that money.
Wow.
And I think you couldn't build a fiber program. You couldn't build fiber into the county to one location for that money.
You are absolutely right, Susan. And when you look at to Alex's point, and even Bernie's, you look at what are the standards, and yes, everybody wants gigabit, and yes, fiber is a way to accomplish gigabit, but at what expense? And how long is it going to take you to get permitting, trenching, construction to get it? LTE solutions and the solutions that Bernie and Alex support and manufacture and provide to this community are super, super important. Faster adoption to the market, being able to use a small amount of funding and make very, very valuable contributions to rural areas. You're just doing it, and I just applaud you. Really, really nice job. Really cool. So Susan, give the folks, let's talk about in the folks in Jetmore in Hodgman County. Let's say we're talking to them right now, and what do they get to be excited about? What's next for your network? Where are you expanding?
Well, I guess my next for my network is to take and get fiber to the base. I have 5 towers in the county, is to get fiber to the base of every one of those towers so that I can feel comfortable about offering the kind of bandwidth that the Telrad LTE CBRS solution can provide. I am kind of hamstring a little bit because those 2 of the towers are fed by microwave radio right now. So, and I just think that we need to do that and then actually get some fiber connectivity to our courthouse and our county health nurse and just get the node set up so that we can build for the future.
Beautiful.
Through that, some of the adjoining counties, Northern Ford County, Gray County, even Nuss County, who had RDF money, and they did put fiber to the home in that county, I have found that those folks are looking for an alternative provider because the monthly cost of that gold standard is too much for them. They are being forced to buy a telephone line to go along with their broadband, and I've heard it. It's ringing in my ears. I don't need another telephone line. I just need internet.
You got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, excellent. Well, folks, it's been 40 minutes and that goes really, really quick. But when you bring together passionate people who are able to get things done and really are on this, we have a common enemy in the fact that we have this massive digital divide, and all of these folks in the tentacles of America, the rural parts of America, they absolutely need connectivity. COVID absolutely shone a huge light on that. And just to hear your inspiring story, Susan, it gets me excited. I know the boys are excited as well. And you are just helping very rural parts of America. And yes, we are all in business, and yes, we're here to make money. But the fact that we are helping humans is really heartwarming. And I think you are awesome. So thank you so much for everything you're doing. Boys, thank you for manufacturing great products, having great service levels for your SaaS solution, and being nimble and quick as Susan is, because that's what we need to get this done, guys. So thank you all so much. Why don't we just go around the room real quick? If people want more information on Blackdragon, Federated, and Telrad, how do they get in touch with you? Susan, let's start with you first.
Well, you can go to my website, www.blackdragonnetworks.com, and just click on the learn more information, put your email address in there and a phone number. Our phone number is 620-263-0152, and we will answer it with a real person.
All right. Love it. Very good. Bernie, over to you, sir.
Yeah, same. Federatedwireless.com would be our website. You could find a breadth of information there, as well as my contact info is a long one, but it's b.vaysenberg, Vaysenberg at federatedwireless.com if you want to message me directly, or sales@federatedwireless.com as well. We are standing by, ready to help you with all of your CBRS needs.
All right. Alex, how about you, sir?
Well, I'm not as brave to spell out my email address on the podcast. It might take another 5 minutes. So for Telrad, our website is telrad.com, obviously www.telrad.com. Phone number is 844-4-TELRAD. Sometimes it's the human, sometimes it's the auto attendant that answers, but we always return the phone calls when the voice message is left. Our email in the United States, the easiest would be sales-NA as in North America @telrad.com. This way, multiple people receive it, multiple eyes see it, so no excuses for not to respond. We look forward to speaking to anyone who has any questions.
Beautiful. Well, Susan, thank you so much. It's an honor to be working with you and to have great partnerships with all of you. It's an honor to be working with all of you fine folks. And let's keep doing this and keep connecting America where connectivity is absolutely necessary. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Latest edition of AirWAVs. We will see you on our next edition.
Thank you, Zach. Thanks, Wave team.